The Woman King is still being discussed a lot in the woke media because they are desperate for this movie to be a success. When Viola Davis came out and said, if you don't support this movie, if you don't go watch this movie, then you don't support black women, then you hate black women and you don't want them to ever be leads in the box office again. Well, the mainstream media took that to heart. They took that very seriously. And from the beginning, they have been pushing this movie, promoting this movie, and covering for this movie, including by lying. Not only did they lie about so much of the reaction to The Woman King, but of course we know they lied about the movie itself. They did their best to defend The Woman King against the severe backlash that came once people realized the true story of the Dahomey tribe, the true story of these women that are being heralded as heroes and inspirations by so many people that made this movie. Because of course, as we now know, the women that are portrayed in this movie, it's not the best people. They actually did a lot of terrible, horrific things, and they were a reason a large percentage of people were put into the slave trade. Well, now the media is taking it one step further. One of the most easily provable lies you could possibly imagine. Look at this headline. The Woman King breaks even at the box office. Now, there are a couple reasons why an article like this might be written at a point in time right now. One, it's because they're just flat out lying. Two, it's because they understand nothing about the box office. Or three, it is a chance that this person is actually mentally challenged. If that's the case, we will forgive them. But we have to go through this because you could not be more wrong. Heartfelt congratulations to the team behind The Woman King. Their Afrocentric epic broke even on Friday. The film has now made $50 million domestically, the same amount as its budget, not counting marketing costs. This is so dumb, I need to take a second and breathe about this, because if you actually think that, because there's some people in the comment section that come to me with this all the time. What do you mean? This movie made back its money. It made as much as its budget was. Do you think that all of the money made in the box office just goes straight back to the studio? Do you think that's how it works? Here's a spoiler alert. That's not how it works. Now, The Woman King did cost $50 million to make. And when we go here and look at the numbers, you can see it's made just over $50 million. Unfortunately for The Woman King, they don't get all of that money. In fact, usually they end up with around half. If you're talking about just US box offices, maybe 50% to about 60% of the box office take actually goes back to the studio. Then you have to factor in marketing costs. And there's a very simple calculation that's an easy thumb rule to remember. 2.5 times the production budget. Is that going to be 100% on spot? No, but it's pretty close. And I'll explain to you why. This movie has not broken even. This movie has not made its money back. This movie is still in the hole. It needs to make at least $125 million before it can consider breaking even. Now again, this movie, $50 million to make. When you factor in marketing budgets, a good rule of thumb is about half of the production budget will be spent again on marketing. So that's $50 million plus another 25 specifically for this movie. Pretty easy math. That's 75. Now, what about that box office cut? Well, if the box office cut, we'll be very generous to The Woman King and say they get to keep 60% of it. If that actually is the case, we'll go ahead and we'll divide by 60 here. We can do that. Divide by 60%. That brings us to 125. That 125 number, just like I said, what's 50 times 2.5? Oh, you got it, 125. That is the number right around there that it needs to beat. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about production budget included. We're talking about the box office cut because, again, the theaters need to stay in business. The theaters need to make money too. That's how it works. But some people are willing to lie and do whatever it takes to paint the narrative that this movie's a great success. This film's purported to be an Oscar contender, with some even saying it has a shot at Best Picture. Its fourth weekend gross is estimated to be around 4.7 million. Again, not great for this film. The Woman King is now the 41st highest grossing movie worldwide total of 2022. The 41st best of this year. And you think with a $50 million budget, that's something to write home about as a success already? These people are high. Are they smoking crack? That's an actual question. It currently has a 6.3 IMDb user score and has been stuck with a 99% audience approval on Rotten Tomatoes for around a month now. Stuck is a very good word. That's higher than The Godfather, Goodfellas, Citizen Kane, Vertigo, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Do the Right Thing. Do you actually think that this movie is up there with the greatest movies of all time? Let's take a look at The Woman King. Shockingly, stuck is a great word. That's one of the only things this author put in that article that's actually, very accurate and a good way to describe something. Stuck on 99%. Funny, when I go through and I look, these are just the most recent ones. These are all the ones on the front page, all verified reviews somehow. None of them say anything about The Woman King. None of them mention Viola Davis. None of them mention Africa. None of them mention anything. Let's go through and show you how generic this is. This is a great movie. Highly recommend. Love the storyline. Ending fantastic. Good acting, good story, powerful emotion. Great movie. Much needed history. A little trouble understanding the speech. Excellent movie with great actors. Must see. The movie was so good it touched all your emotions. Funny, sad, and lightning suspenseful. Would love to see it for a second time. So good, must see, I'd watch again in theaters. They did so good making this movie. Can a 15-star be created? It was powerful and entertaining from start to finish. Made me shed a tear. I'm gonna go back again. Excellent movie. Enjoy every second. It had a lot of action, kept my attention. Fantastic old school adventure with great character and lots of heart. Is there anyone that thinks all of these are legitimate? These are the most recent ones. Within the past 12 hours, all of these are 5-star verified reviews somehow. Yet none of them say anything specifically about this movie. Are you fucking kidding me? That is the most obvious thing you could possibly imagine. At least try to mix it up a little bit if you're going to AstroTurf these scores. But when you have stupid articles like this, it makes more stupid articles. Right here, when they interviewed Sheila Tim, you can't get a complete history of anything in 2 hours, particularly the slave trade. Well, what did they say in this article? In the weeks since the film premiered in the US, it's outperformed expectations, topping the box office in its opening weekend and already making back its $50 million budget. Once again, people trying to pretend like this movie is a success. It could make it there. It could make it to 125. Maybe it'll keep going in the United States. Maybe internationally do great. But that is the number, 125, before it thinks about breaking even. But you have the media out here lying and pretending like it's already a financial success when it couldn't be any further from the truth. In fact, they're not even halfway there yet. This movie has a long way to go. It's why the media has been pushing it so hard. It's why they've been covering for Viola Davis. It's why they've been doing Damage Control. Because shockingly, the movie that is about people that participated very heavily in the slave trade, but it makes them out to be the protagonists in this. And the marketing is, if you don't go see it, then you hate black women. Doesn't look like it's been very effective. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.